My presentation will be based on the social cognitive learning theory as suggested by Albert Bandura and the cognitive learning theory as viewed by Jean Piaget. So the social cognitive learning theory and the cognitive learning theory, they both contribute to the human lifespan development. Lifespan development, it is the study of how humans conceive, learn, mature, and adapt from infancy to adulthood and to other phases of life. Some areas of focus include physical, cognitive, social, intellectual, perceptual, personality, and emotional growth. For example, my 3-year-old daughter at home is learning how to talk. But for me at the moment, I am learning how to handle stress better in the classroom and at home. So my daughter is going through a different stage of life, physically, physical changes. And for myself too, I'm going through a different types of changes, maybe emotional, maybe personality. Yeah? So lifespan development is it is how people grow, how people change, whether physically or emotionally or psychologically, and how people stay the same from conception to death. So lifespan development is totally about how we human beings go through the different stages of life or the different changes that we encounter, which all started from conception in our mother's womb until death. Social cognitive learning theory. It is a theory suggested by Albert Bandura, which suggests that humans learn behavior by observing others or through observational learning. So Bandura believes that behavior is acquired by observing other people and then imitating what is observed. So Albert Bandura's theory is simply talking about how we human beings acquire behavior. How we learn behavior. Bandura says that we learn behavior through observing other people or watching other people and then trying to imitating or trying to follow whatever the people are doing through our observation. For observational learning, as suggested by Bandura, observational learning, as stated by Bandura, required 4 processes, which involves paying attention. So paying attention simply means the observer needs to give full 100% of his or her attention to the behavior being observed. And if anything that distracts the attention of the observer, then the behavior will not be successful. And the next one, it says being motivated to enact the behavior. So this simply means that the observer needs to be motivated to model the behavior or to imitate the behavior. So if the observer is interested in the behavior that is being observed, then he or she will imitate the behavior. And the next one, it says having the ability to reproduce the action. So this is the time where the observer will have to reproduce the behavior that has been observed. And the next one, it says having the ability to remember the behavior. So after the observation, the observer needs to retain the information and remember the behavior that has been observed. So according to Bandura, people observe behavior either directly, So directly simply means can be face to face with your with the person you want to observe, or through social interaction. Yeah? So you can observe behavior through when there is a games or when there is a social gathering. So that's how you can observe behavior through social interaction with others. Or you can also observe behaviors indirectly by observing through media. As we all know nowadays, social media is one of the technology that is used to look at other people and to see other people. And most of us, we try to see new things through social media. And some of us tend to be like somebody else by looking through Facebook, going through Instagram, and we want to follow, imitate other people, maybe their clothing, maybe the way they talk. So that's how we can observe indirectly through social media. And only the actions that are rewarded are more likely to be imitated. Yeah? So, and while those that are punished are avoided by the observer. So if the behavior is rewarded, either positive or negative reinforcement, then we are likely to imitate that behavior. And if the behavior is punished, so the observer will less likely to imitate that behavior. So the interaction between our behavior, personal and environmental. So Bandura's social cognitive theory proposes that human behavior is the product of the interaction between our personal factors, environmental influences, and the behavioral patterns. If we look at some of the personal factors, these personal factors, they influences our behavior too. So they include our families, peers, our friends, our life experiences, our beliefs, and whatever we go through personally. They all contributed to our personal factors and also affect our behavior. If we look at the environmental influences, this include our family, our community where we are brought up, the response from the different people, our peers, the school. So all these, they contributed to our environmental factors, and they also influence our behavior as suggested by Bandura. So he emphasized that the role of observational learning, social experience, and reciprocal determinism in human behavior, suggesting that people are both influenced by and actively influence their environment. So from the diagram that has been previously shown, Bandura views that people are active agents who can both influence and are influenced by the environment. So Bandura suggested that social cognitive learning is the result of interaction between the developing individual and their physical and social environment. So Bandura simply explained that learning is the result of the interaction, our interaction between the environment. So the environment simply means our family, our friends, our peers, and how we interact with them, the physical environment, and also how we interact with the social environment, with our families, with our friends. So they all contributed to the social cognitive learning. For the cognitive learning theories, so cognitive learning theories, this is a theory that is suggested by Jean Piaget. So cognitive development focuses on a child's development in terms of information, information processing, conceptual resources, perceptual skill, language learning, and other aspects of the developed adult brain, and cognitive psychology. So Piaget's cognitive theory described the idea that thinking is developed in a series of complex steps where children actively construct knowledge as they explore, act, and manipulate their world. So Piaget suggested that a child develop from one stage of thinking to the next through direct learning, social transmission, and physical maturation. So in Jean Piaget's cognitive learning theories, he suggested that learning is a process. Yeah? So it's a process of how we human beings acquire knowledge, our ability to learn, and how we solve problems. So as a child, when a child grows up, they act as little scientists when they try to explore their environment and the world around them, and at the same time they try to understand their environment. Direct learning. This is occur when children actively respond to and interpret new problems and experiences based on thoughts and ideas they already know. So these patterns of thoughts and ideas, according to Piaget, is known as schema or the schemata. So he suggested that a child's cognitive development is not just about acquiring knowledge. The child has to develop or construct a mental model of the world, which is referred to as schema. So schema is a cognitive representation of things or activities. So this schema rapidly changes, and as the child grows and encounters new experiences through assimilation and accommodation. So this direct learning says that as the child grows up, he or she will encounter or go through different things in life, encounter the different experiences, and at the same time, from that experiences, the child also have the schemas, what they've already know. And when they try to meet new problems, they will try to solve it by using what they've already know and try to solve the current problem that they are facing. Assimilation and accommodation. So assimilation is the process of incorporating the experiences and observation into the logic of the existing or developing understanding. So assimilation simply means trying to incorporate what you've already know, what you've already learned, or whatever you've already experienced, and try to incorporate it with the existing or the developing understanding of your current situation. So for example, in the classroom, if you've already taught the children on the understanding of the human life cycle, so children understand the phenomena of the life cycle of a butterfly in terms of the understanding of the human life cycle. So if you've already taught them the topic of the human life cycle, and then you taught them the life cycle of a butterfly, so you might notice that most children will be able to grasp the idea of a life cycle of a butterfly better because they've already had their experience, they've already learned the human life cycle, and that's how they incorporate it with the life cycle of a butterfly. So that's basically what assimilation means. Moving on, accommodation happens when there is a conflict or mismatch between the new information and the students' internal models, leading students to adapt the existing understanding and expectations to incorporate the new perception and experiences. So accommodation means when there is a conflict, when there is a mismatch between what you've already learned, what you already know, and the current situation that you face. So for example, a person believes that driving in the car is safe and a predictable way to travel based on the experiences they have had. However, but after some time, that individual is involved in a major accident and is injured. So after that accident, the individual might have a double-minded, or he or she might be thinking, oh, now I know that traveling in the car is not safe because he had undergone an accident. So that individual will have to adjust his schema to accommodate his new experiences. Social transmission and physical maturation. Social transmission is the process where a child's thinking is influenced by learning from social contact. So this social contact may be learning from friends, or learning from peers, and with observation from others such as parents, teachers, and peers. So we all know that as parents, we have more contact with our children. So whatever we do, we are influencing our children's thinking. And as teachers, we also have a greater impact on the children's thinking in the classroom. And children also learn from their peers. So this is what social transmission is, when a child's thinking is influenced by learning from the social contact and with observation from others. For example, for me, I learned how to bake a cake from observing my mom while she bakes cake. So that's how social transmission is being practiced by us. I learned from my mom through just observing. I learned what she did. And physical maturation, it is the biological physical growth and the development that an individual goes through till old age. So for example, a 6 to 8 months old baby can only crawl, but as he grows into 1 year old, then he can walk, as he has physically grown and developed his maturity. So physical maturation is simply the changes or the growth in our physical body from baby to adulthood. And these are my references, the references that I use to get more information in regards to my presentation.